In this video, I'm going to continue my Ahrefs API series using the Keyword Explorer keyword ideas endpoints, including related terms, which is the page you see now, as well as matching terms. And it's worth noting that the Ahrefs API is a paid API. You have to have an enterprise level account where you get 2 million API credits per month, I believe, or you can pay as you go. But it is worth noting that you need to have API access for this project to work. And what we're gonna build is, let's say that we have a keyword research document and I wanna just get additional keywords. So get related keywords in this case. You'll also learn how to add a new sheet to a tab, like you just saw the automation did. And so now I've brought in additional keywords to potentially target. The Ahrefs API has a really nice playground where you can construct the API call that you want. And as I'm limiting the country US, I'm gonna get keyword and search volume. You can get more. So down in the response example, you can get CPC, keyword difficulty, search intent, lots of stuff here. So just as an example, I'm gonna get the keyword and search volume. I'm going to limit it to 10 because I'm going to get 10 for each keyword, and you can get a sense for that can quickly get out of hand. I'm going to order them by search volume. One thing, I just ran this sample request, and you'll see like the related keywords for what is AI is just simply AI or knowledge or human. And these are not like good keywords. Not good related terms in my opinion, based on what I'm looking for. They have a where filter, and I was thinking, because I did look at the documentation, you pass in where filter as a string and you can select by all of these options. And I was thinking, okay, maybe word count, if the word count is greater than 2. So my initial thought was word count greater than 2. That didn't work. Finally, I found this page on their filter syntax, which I would never have guessed. So I'm glad I found it. And so I'll show you how this works. So the field is important. I almost put keyword there and it didn't work. So keep field consistent, put in word count instead of foo, and then I'm going to put greater than GT 2. We'll send that request, and it worked. You can see now the keywords are a little bit more content focused and a little bit better for my use case. So I will copy this entire example endpoint minus the keyword example. And in a new sheet, I'm just going to have the keywords here to show you the example. Open up extensions, app script, and I'm going to rename this function to related terms. I'm going to const URL, and I'm going to paste that in. And actually, I'm going to use the backticks instead of the double quotes so that I can then use the $ and curly brackets to interpolate a keyword. I also was like playing around with this, and the way that they turn some of the symbols into, %2, it seemed to break down, and I had to consult my handy AI friends to fix that. So we'll see if it works this time, but just note, if you run into any issues, that's probably what happened. Options object with the method of get. Headers is another object that accepts application JSON, application XML. Just so you're aware, these are all in that Ahrefs API documentation, and I'm just translating it into the Google Apps Script language. So as you can see, that's all here. I'm going to copy this API key. I'm going to say const API key is equal to that. And I'm going to delete this after the video, but maybe give it a shot anyway and see if it works. See if you're lucky. Okay. We'll say const res is equal to URL fetch app.fetch. We'll pass in the URL endpoint. We'll pass in the options object. We'll also say const num. I call it num for reasons I don't even remember. Probably because I was looking for a number at some point and I've just stuck with it. Where I parse the JSON response. I'm going to say const keywords equals num.keywords, because if you recall, the response example down here, the body is in an array of keywords. So that's why I did that. And let's just log out keywords for now. So let's see if it worked. I'm going to just const a keyword is equal to what is AI, so we can test it. Command S to save that. Make sure everything looks decent. Command R to run it. We will have to approve or authorize the app, I'm sure. Review permissions, connect to an external service, which is Ahrefs. And yeah, I think this is, let's just say we remove this where code from the URL, rerun it, it worked. Okay, so that's where it's breaking down. So now I'm going to just paste in how AI told me to do it, and let's see if that worked. It works, and I'm seeing pretty consistent. The keyword is at least 3 words, which is what we're targeting. So now that we have that working, let's write a new function, and we'll actually just return keywords here. And I will say function new related keywords tab, and I'm going to say const original sheet is equal to spreadsheet app.getActiveSheet. I'll say const original sheet name is equal to original sheet.getName. Pretty straightforward there. I'm also going to let keywords equal an empty array because we will push to that array. I'm going to spread the spreadsheet app.getActiveSheet.getActiveRange.getValues. And I want to do that, and I'll probably just put original sheet here. That will allow us to keep the original sheet values so that when we create a new sheet, it won't interfere with the code. So let existing sheet equal spreadsheet app.getActiveSpreadsheet, get sheet by name, and we'll interpolate the original sheet name dash of related keywords. If the existing sheet is null, so exclamation point existing sheet, we'll say existing sheet equals spreadsheet app dot get active spreadsheet dot insert sheet and set name to original sheet name related keywords. We'll also say existing sheet get range first row first column set value to keyword. Similarly, we'll get the second column and we'll set that equal to SV for search volume. We'll also say let last row equal existing sheet dot get last row plus 1 because we want to skip over the row where we just added values. And we'll write a for loop where we'll say for let I equals 0, I is less than keywords dot length I++ to iterate over those. We'll say let keywords equal to related terms, which is the function we just wrote. Keywords I 0 to string to lowercase and replace all spaces with plus signs. That's just because Ahrefs API and Ahrefs in general prefers lowercase strings with plus symbols instead of spaces. And we'll say keywords dot for each, K for the keyword, index for each of those. We'll say existing sheet get range last row plus index so that we can iterate each time in the first column. Set value equal to k.keyword, and again interpolating that value. And similarly, we'll just copy this, paste it in. We'll get the volume this time, and we're going to put that in the second column. And then after all of that is done, we'll iterate, or we'll say last row plus and equals keywords.length so that we can iterate, like each time that we put all of these keywords in, we're going to move the last row index by the number of keywords. Command S to save that. And now we're going to remove this variable of the keyword and pass in the keyword itself to the function to be referenced here. I think we're in a good place to also write the onOpen function, which takes in spreadsheet app, get UI, create menu, pass in the menu title, which is a string, additional keywords. We'll say add item, related terms, highlight keywords. I do this because it's helpful for the end user and yourself to remember what needs to be highlighted. New related keywords tab, I believe is what we called it, but let's just double check. We'll just copy that. make sure it matches, and it does. And don't forget to add it to UI. Sometimes if you go back to refresh and it doesn't show up, all you have to do is add to UI. Command S to save that. Go back to your tab or your sheet. Refresh your sheet. It'll close out AppScript, but you should see the menu added. And I'm just going to highlight 2 keywords, and let's see if this works. It works. Amazing. So we have 20 keywords being added here with search volume, and I just highlighted 2, 10 each. That is what we were going for. The matching terms API works pretty similarly. I mean, it's pretty just copy and paste, honestly. Yeah, no real difference there. So I don't really think we need to go into that one. So on my GitHub, I have a whole Ahrefs API folder. Keyword ideas, and ideas is in here. So you'll see, you have to put your Ahrefs API key, but you can get both the related terms and the matching terms API endpoints in here. So hopefully this is helpful. And a quick overview of the keyword ideas API. If you have any requests, please add a comment below. If you run into any issues, happy to help troubleshoot. And yeah, thank you for your time, and thank you for your interest in automating away your repetitive tasks.